Hello, my beautiful people. Excuse me. These are all my thoughts and opinions based on public information out in the public domain. Please do your own research, and this is for entertainment purposes only. I wanted to address a couple of things before I get started on the video about children's services and the rights of children to have relationship with their extended family. Sometimes I go on and I try and I'm very emphatic, or I know that I make like very obvious examples of things because I have a lot of emails coming at me from people, uh, you know, still arguing the point, even with the examples, even with the law and even everything. This is why I'm very, I know that I elaborate sometimes a little bit too much. I got so many emails in regards to Meghan Markle's letter to Congress. Let me tell you, let me expand a little bit, please. There's many serious issues with that letter from Meghan Markle. Number one, she used official stationery. Number two, she signed it using a title. Number three, in the letter, she states that on behalf of the families, she's speaking on behalf of these families, which indicates that she has been appointed by people to speak on their behalf. All of that, you wonder why she feels that way. Absolutely. I have told you that the reason why she still feels entitled and believes she's speaking in an official capacity is because the royal family, specifically the monarch, has given her that entitlement. It's still to this day, she's still featured in the royal website as a working member of the royal family. Okay, who has only stepped back, not stepped down. And in the website, it still says that she's dividing her time between North America and the United Kingdom, and that their official family home is the United Kingdom, and that she is representing the, what's it called that they said? She speaks the values of Her Majesty the Queen, the United Kingdom, and the Commonwealth. It's in an official website, and people have come back at me saying, oh, it's just a website. No, a government website, because the British monarchy's website, it is a government website because it is a website that informs us about the ongoings of the head of state. And because now a website has become kind of like the official calling card for governments. This is why you have Ministry of Foreign Affairs websites. You have embassy websites, which are which each embassy has autonomy to put content in, but under the guidelines that everything they put in that website, it is official, it is true, it is, as far as everybody can verify, the truth, and can be used for legal purposes. So there is a big difference. And this is why Meghan still feels entitled to do that. Now, what happens when an individual, you can say, well, let me give you an example. For example, if, let's say you work for Microsoft and you send a letter and you are director of PR, let's say, and then you send a letter using the company's stationery, put your name on it, but you sign it as, Karen Smith, director of PR, and you send it to the media or to anybody. That indicates that even though it is you, because you're using your name, somebody has to send the letter, but you're sending it in an official capacity as representative of that company. Now, I don't know why people are having such a hard time. When somebody sends a letter from the office of, that only applies to government organizations. You don't see, for example, if you're from Microsoft or any private company or any other institution, correctly say, oh, from the office of, no. What you do is you have the logo with the company's address, and telephone number, because that's another thing that you put in there. It's part of the header in the stationery. It comes from company so-and-so. You put your name, your title, you put whatever you need to put, and you sign it. It doesn't say it comes from the office of, because the office of implies an official title, that you are an elected representative. For example, if you're a senator or a congressman, whenever they send letters, they said from the office of, and it has the senator or the congressman or whatever elected official or representative there is. Even in the United Kingdom, from the office of the Lord of blah blah blah, from Parliament, you send it from Parliament, within Parliament, and within the office of, and that is an official title. This is why Meghan feels entitled to speak on behalf of others, even though nobody has appointed her, because her situation does not relate to these families that she is claiming to be speaking on their behalf. You know what I mean? When you have a representative of somebody, of a group, it's because that person is going through the same things and represents the reality of that group, and therefore this person can speak on your behalf, on the group's behalf, and because the group chose this person to speak. In this case, nobody has chosen Meghan Markle, but she's claiming that she's speaking on behalf of all these families that are very unfortunate, while her reality is completely out there. Now, this has very serious legal repercussions, because if anything goes wrong, and I know of a case when a letter was sent with lies, official letter from a school was sent with lies, which affected negatively the parents. And now it's been proven that the school lied. Now the school is trying to wash their hands off and say, you know what, it was the director, but we fired the director. Yeah, but wait a minute. She didn't send it in a personal capacity. She sent it as a director of the school. She consulted with lawyers before sending this letter, knowing full well that they were lying about it. And she sent it with the school's stationery. So the school is ultimately liable for whatever happens. And this is what happens when you send it from the office of. Now, Meghan included Harry in that letter, in that stationery, because she could have sent it from the office of the Duchess of Sussex, right? But she shouldn't be sending it from any office, because she has no office. Unless, of course, the Queen allows it, which is really what is happening, because nobody has told her to stop. But it has legal repercussions, because from official stationery with an official title and speaking on behalf of people, she's claiming and putting information which has criminal implications. I'll tell you why. It is illegal in the state of California to hire or have a minor under 13 or younger working for you. And if you're above, there's certain special circumstances that you can work if you're a child actor, and then the parents, it is a whole process. But for you to work at a yogurt shop when you're 13 years of age in order to make ends meet, or even as a waitress, which is even worse, that it means that establishments were engaging in illegal activities of hiring minors and exploiting minors for child labor. That's basically what these yogurt shop and this whatever restaurant she worked at were engaging in. And that means that whoever hired them, they have to be investigated, because that means that there could be ongoing illegal practices of hiring children for work. So, and I know there's many people who have come out and said, well, the yogurt shop posted something. They don't know what she means by her local yogurt shop. First of all, because it's a lie. Number two, does she mean local where she went to the exclusive school that cost about $16,000 back then? Now it's 20-some thousand, or where she lived? Most likely, because that was 27 years ago, most likely those yogurt shops are not even there. You know what I mean? And they wouldn't even remember her, because she's a nobody still. My point is that writing that letter has has criminal consequences, has legal consequences, and she is lobbying on behalf of a political party, because that specific bill is put on behalf of a political party. So she's lobbying on their behalf, which is, again, it's a big no. And yet she is allowed to do that. She's allowed to lie, to implicate criminally two shops that probably never worked for. Now people are going to think about who they are, just to send people goose chasing just for her to sell a lie. And also, most importantly, it is the preface to my next topic, which is the children's right to have relationships with their extended family. I posted it yesterday. I'm not going to post it again. I hope you guys read it. There's a reason why there is that law. The reason for that is usually when you have family knows your behavior, kind of has an idea. You never know who people really are, but you have an idea of who they are. You can kind of detect when things are off. Now, when these people, when you have family and yet they have children, you see their interaction. And if you are in constant contact, when you have a very good family relation, they can detect when something is off. And children who are being abused can sometimes, most times, come to another family member and confide what's going on. Or even sometimes if the child doesn't confide, and if you have close family members of others, around, they can see something is not right and they can call it out to protect the child. That's one of the duties and one of the reasons to have people it takes a village to raise a child. Isolating children from people, from social interaction is violating a child's right, because a child has a right to interact. You can only have a healthy child when it has healthy associations, healthy family relationships, because the child feels protected. It's part of their identity. So now, not everybody, just because you're a family member, extended family, it has to be cousins, first cousins, grandparents, aunts and uncles, okay? It cannot be the fourth cousin from Alabama who's coming to have, no. It has to be people, for example, in Harry's case, it has to be his brother, Catherine, his father, his first cousins who have been in his life for a long time. And these people can trace it back and say, hey, wait a minute. We were in Harry's life up to this point. We believe something is wrong, and we don't think that the child is safe being brought up in this environment without us being present, because clearly something has drastically changed. Something is not right. And that is transferred to the child. The child is isolated. Now, I ask you all these questions. Please keep in mind, these are all my thoughts and opinions. In order for Meghan to justify separating so brutally a child from her children, for their extended family, close relations that have been, by all means and accounts, her father was a loving father and caring man who raised her and gave her the best. This woman never starved, okay? She never had to work for ends meet. Harry's life was privileged. You can see very public love. He has publicly praised all of his family. So there are enough grounds for concern that Meghan, in order to justify to their children, because these kids, if they exist, have to grow up. They will have questions to which she will have certain answers. Now, in order for her to justify being so brutally extreme to cut completely off all relationships, what do you think she's going to do? She's going to lie to these children. She's going to lie to them, and she's going to make up the worst possible kinds of lies to poison the minds of these two children, in order for them to grow up hating this extended family, to have a thwarp idea of what the world is about. It is not a healthy environment for these children. And the fact that the extended family are not taking serious steps to ensure that they are part of a relationship have a relationship with these two children is just lazy. And in my opinion, it is a form of neglect. It's just the same thing that Prince William did when it was very obvious that Meghan Markle was being incredibly abusive and bullying these people, the staff. Instead of, and to the point that Jason Knopf, who now heads the Royal Foundation for the Earthshot thing, oddly enough, wrote memos, and not only one, but I'm sure there was more correspondence, and there was only one leaked or two leaked. And there is an ongoing bullying investigation because of that. Wrote to people. Now, it's part of, and Prince William, instead of saying, hey, okay, now we have been informed that their staff members are being brutally abused. There's serious bullying that has put the mental health of these staff at risk. Instead of them taking steps to stop this and correct it, they just distance themselves and wash their hands off of it. That is a very typical answer to what is going on. And this is why things escalate. Right now, the monarch is not dealing with a person who is normal in the mind. She's dealing with a person who has no conscience, no morals, no sense of regret, no sense of consequence, because she hasn't been made to face any consequences. The extended family law is for the rights of the child, not the rights of Meghan, not the rights of Harry. It's the rights that children have for many reasons, for safety reasons, for identity reasons, to have a relationship with the closest members of the family, of the extended family. Grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, they bring a sense of identity and a sense of protection, which they are being completely robbed of by Meghan Markle and Harry. Now, there are enough causes of concern to actually start with that for the safety of the children, to ensure that these children grow up with a healthy frame of mind without being poisoned. These children are going to have, again, I repeat myself, a thwart environment. And people say, well, the parents, we can't do anything. They are laws. And I just quoted one in my post yesterday, which is the extended family rights and the children's right to have those family members. Right now, these children, they're too small to speak on their behalf, and they are being poisoned. Their minds are poisoned. Now, we know now that Meghan Markle is a fantasist, a narcissistic. By what she writes, this is not even by what somebody says. Her lies are very public, and it is quite concerning that it's only increasing and ongoing, which puts her children at risk. How can this woman provide a healthy mental development for these children when she is a constant liar, when her world is completely, the stories that she makes up are terrible? Her children will be her children's mental health will be affected. This is a woman that on public national television said that she had considered ending her life because she wasn't living in California. That's what it really boiled down to. This is a woman who clearly has serious mental health issues. If you have a person that is like that, a person who lies, who cuts relationships off that quickly, so who isolation, it is now confirmed as a form of abuse by mental health practitioners, and it's even in the mental health World Health Organization. What are the signs of narcissism and forms of abuse? The first thing they do is cut people off. So yes, the children, if they exist, have a right to have their family. This is their right, and they are being deprived of those rights. And Mr. Markle and the palace and Prince William and the Queen, oh, we don't want to intervene. We're just going to let it be because our parents know best. That is being an accomplice of what is going on. And that's saying, and they don't want to do it because of publicity or anything. It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with the fact that Harry and Meghan have clearly, mostly Meghan, demonstrated that she's not mentally capable of providing a mental well-being for their children, because she's gonna have to lie, because these kids are gonna ask, why couldn't I see my grandpa? Why couldn't I see my great grandma? Why couldn't I see my uncle? Why are these people having this life and we are not? So Meghan is gonna have to resort to say the most vile lies to keep these children isolated, because let's face it, we have internet. So she's putting out all these stories of how terrible they are, because she's, in my opinion, setting the seeds out in the media that if her children are to look at the internet, they're going to say, oh, okay, this happened. You know what I mean? And Palace kept quiet, which means my mom is right, because any thinking person looking at what Meghan Markle is doing and seeing the lack of reaction, silence is compliance. Silence is agreement. There have been no steps taken by the palace to say, wait a minute, recollections may vary. This is not about it. It has legal consequences, because Harry and Meghan did not attack the Queen Elizabeth or Lilibet. They attacked the monarch. They attacked the British monarchy as an institution. They attacked the staff as being abusive themselves for not looking after her when it was never the case. So the silence from Buckingham Palace, UK Parliament, the entire government, in regards to all of the unlawful actions that Meghan Markle is doing, leads the world to believe that they're okay with what they're doing, that they can keep writing to government employees, that they can keep interfering with governmental issues in other countries on behalf of the crown by using stationery with the titles from the crown. But these are just my thoughts and opinions. I mean, what do you guys think? And yes, have a good day.